Hi guys, beautiful evening. Check that out. Lovely evening. It was a handy enough day. I'm off now tomorrow. Yeah, not too much to complain about, considering how difficult last week started off. This week wasn't so bad. Got to play FIFA again. I won, which was nice. Nearly won the last two games, but yeah, just about lost out. So it was nice. Gerd Muller scored 4 goals for me, so I love Gerd Muller. Had Zidane as well in my team, standing in there. You can hear him. Can you hear that? It's really cool. Again. Angela Zidane. Lovely, really nice evening. Can you hear that? Anyway, go again. It's like a nice symphony of the Angelas and 10 the horses. Anyway, just make sure there's no cars coming. Yeah, handy enough, just in Friday and then I'm off for the rest of the week, but there's a channel that's like much more popular than mine, in a good way, and he's been going longer than me. That's Paul from Adult with Autism, and I like his videos. I've reached out to him a few times, he always answers, or if not, normally always. I think he's taking a bit of a break because, like me, life gets in the way, and I understand 100%. I just thought I'd ask him because he was talking about recharging, and just looking at these are helping me recharge already. That's a good one. I'll try that one. That one. Very good. Delicious. And I thought I'd ask him something, sorry, after eating my blackberries, I thought I'd ask him, how does he find the subject of bullying and conflict resolution? Because I think it's something that's come up a lot, something that's really interested me. And I think the best way to find out how autistic people deal with it is to ask them. I think they're mostly very honest. Sheep in this field this time. Yeah. Coming over? Or I'll leave you be. I think I'll leave you be. These. Look at that skyline. Oh, it's amazing. For another swim today just before it goes in. Oh, look at them. They are lovely. Hello. Look at that. Where else would you find a speedboat next to a trailer and a load of bullocks? Oh. Lovely. Yeah. It's nice to pop by and have a chat with the animals. I'll leave them be. They're grazing. Anyway, down the hatch. That was a good batch. But yeah, getting back to the video point, all the lovely animals always distract me. Because after a long day of dealing with humans, dealing with animals is exactly what the doctor ordered. I keep saying that because I was at the doctor's. I need to de-stress. Got high blood pressure. Got a bit of the root, or what do you call the bits that hang on to the end of them? Chomped down. Not nice. But yeah, high blood pressure, and that comes from interacting with people. It comes from putting on a show all day, you know. When you're trying to put on a front, pretend to be getting on with everybody. Got a bit of my cheek. It's just exhausting. And it has gotten the better of me, you know. Last few it's done hitting me beautifully. Last few times I've been to the doctor now, I've been told I need to watch my blood pressure, which is concerning. Check that out, it's hitting me nice. But yeah, you know, I have to really watch it now because I'm only young. If this keeps up, it could mess me up for life. And I think maybe it's a good warning, you know, I'm young so I can deal with it somewhat. Look at that. Oh, I can just see it poking its head through. Beautiful. Go over and have a chat to these now. I'm just gonna go talk to the animals. Help me calm down. Here they are now. Let's see how they're getting on. Oh yeah, look at that. Hello. Look at the sunset. Hey fellas, how we getting on? Oh, look at that beautiful sun. Not interested. We'll leave them alone. But yeah, one thing that always kind of triggers me is I'm always second guessing if I should say something to somebody, and it's kind of exhausting to deal with. It's like, when is the appropriate time to intervene and when isn't? You know, I'm always on alert anyway. Don't want to get it wrong. But yeah, conflict, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because hearing Paul saying, from adult with autism, hearing him saying that he tries to avoid conflict at all costs, and I'm like, I know what you mean. That's how I feel anyway. People say otherwise. Well, I genuinely do try, if I can, to avoid it. At least if I'm in my right headspace, you know. If I'm thinking rationally, then, which I usually do, I'll kind of, you know, exhaust all my options. So how do I even put it? I'll try to just, you know, reason with someone, and then if they're not being reasonable, not much else you can do. So like, what I'll try and do is, you know, just, I guess, kind of reason, and then I think what I find, and sorry, one second. What I find a lot of is it's very often that if you're autistic or neurodivergent, the way I see it play out a lot when people try and push your boundaries is pretending to be your friend, you know, so they're nice to you, and then they'll ask you for something. I think because we don't really know how to be fake, or we try not to be, or it's just plain exhausting trying to be fake when everybody, we can't really tell the difference. I've gotten really suspicious of people you know, and you can go the opposite way. I've been told I'm quite paranoid, but I think that's born out of a real place. I think it's fair considering what I've been through. And to say someone's paranoid is to kind of take away from their feelings, you know. Like I said, I'm a bit slow. I'm taking 2 clonidine most days this week because I was running around yesterday and it was fun, you know, it was good. It was good crack. But yeah, I'm sleeping a lot better, which is good. I'm feeling very slow at the minute, you know, and I don't like it. All I'm really doing, like, with the doctor asked, what are you doing for yourself and how are you feeling better? It's well, I mean, I am playing 5-a-side, you know, and I like the lads there. Bit dizzy after it, not at the level I used to be at fitness wise anyway. That's for fucking sure. Just feel, like I say, very slow. That might be the medication I'm on, I don't know. But yeah. In terms of dealing with conflict, like when it arises, I think I've dealt with it pretty well, you know, and it's not something I like dealing with. Like if someone asks me for something, not even necessarily that I'm afraid of them, you know, because I'm not, but, and I thought I was, but it's more so I don't want to disappoint anybody, you know. There's another channel now, and I, for the life of me, I can't remember his name. But he's Cockney anyway. He's definitely from London. He's got a real, a really strong accent. You know, the alright bruv. Oh my days. Ooh, just go back here now. And the church, lovely. It's a beautiful church, isn't it? I love it. It's really clean as well. They maintain it very well. But yeah, he was talking about when he got his lunch in school, and everybody always knew to ask him for a chicken wing, and they say, I'll get you another one tomorrow. And I nearly became that person, you know. I kind of got the other way. I went paranoid and was like, oh, I'm not giving anyone anything because they'll just keep taking. Because I saw it happen with people who were overly generous. That was my warning to never be. Look, there's 2 beautiful horses that come in here, and they're not here now, but oh, look at that. Yeah, like when I started out in secondary school, I was quite gullible, you know, and I kind of changed then to be like, don't give anyone anything, don't trust anyone, you know. It was even when it was this fella, like, he wasn't threatening, he was just quiet on the bus, and me and my brother had just gone to see an Ireland game, a rugby game. I got us tickets and we went to see it. It was just a fun day out, and got the Wexford bus up, and this fella said when we were coming back home, I got us both a bottle of Coke each, and he said, sorry lads, I'm diabetic, could I have a bit of your Coke? And I just said, with COVID, mate, I don't really want to give you, don't want your mouth on the bottle. My brother just said no. I was kind of like, yeah, that's fair. Then he kind of left us alone, you know, after trying to kind of peer pressure us into it. Or about like, no. And then I was getting to the end of the bottle, and I started thinking, you know, it's only a little dribble at the end. he was saying he needed some sugar just for his, because he was hypoglycemic. And I thought, you know, it's only a little bit at the end of the bottle, and I don't want this guy going into hypoglycemic shock. So I said to him, here, do you want the rest of that? And he came over and started talking to us. You know, he wasn't aggressive or nothing, but he was trying to chance his arm, maybe. You know, I think maybe it's good nature. My favourite dog other than Alfie, favourite female dog. No, they haven't let her out. I miss her, I love having a chat with her. Big St. Bernard. But I'll hear her bark. She's got a really nice big bark. But yeah, you know, I find it hard to say no to people. Very difficult, and I know I'm not alone in that. And I did kind of think, oh yeah, look, it's not going to cost me anything. Bottle of Coke was about €1.50 or something. I had most of it, and I thought, look, don't want that fella passing out in the corner. I'll feel pretty bad if he does. And I didn't give him a dribble of Coke. So I did. The people they weasel their way in, you know. They try to peer pressure you. I think it's maybe a lack of confidence or lack of boundaries. But people would always start trying to scab stuff off you. I'm just like, no. Gotta be direct and say no. Now, there's a caveat. Because you know, if you give something to someone, they can either piss off and leave you alone, or they won't stop bothering you. So there is always an element of how much would it cost me just to give them this, and will they piss off and leave me be? These ones are massive now. Look at these. Look at him. Oh, bit of hair on them. Let's get that off. Down the hatch. Lovely. Like, I kind of think as well, I've often gone out, you know, and now when I'm drunk, and said to people, have you got a spare smoke, you know, have you got a cigarette or something? And I keep hounding them until they give it to me. And now I'm a bit of a tight bastard when it comes to it, you know. I'm also like wary of my mates that are around me, because I don't want them getting into any bother over me being a gobshite. You know, like, people have asked me for a few drags off a smoke before. I'm kind of like, ah, yeah, go on. But you have to know the people who are doing it, you know. And then being assertive. Like, I'm not smoking at the minute, so that sorts that problem out. I'm not drinking either. Because it can get overly generous, do you ever find? My dad is really bad for getting overly generous when he's drinking. It's like, oh yeah, get everyone around. I got myself and a German guy, we got a shot of Jägermeister together. I bought it for him. He didn't ask me for it or nothing, but he gave me a rollie, and I was in Austria, Vienna, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck the Germans and all this, because the Austrians are really, it's like the Portuguese and the Spanish, you know, they hate being compared so much. And he was like, I'm actually from Munich, but if you'd like a shitty German rollie. I was like, Munich, they're different. Munchens. He laughed and gave me the rollie, high-fived me, and then I went in and got us a shot of Jaeger together. Bavarians are definitely different because, I mean, I don't mind German people, I think they're fine, but they're a lot more serious. He was really like, yeah, I'm fine. And we had the shot together. Just have a laugh, you know, like, I think you can have a laugh with people and be generous, but don't be overly generous. You know what I mean? And that's where I think being autistic, you think you're fitting in, and then people are just taking stuff off you. You know, I'd be very paranoid about that. But as I say, I thought the situation was about to get bad, and I was with a few lads from college, like 2 of them, and there were about 5 or 6 lads. I think 5. But you know, up to no good, and I had a smoke on me and they asked me for it, and I was like, oh yeah, you can have a few drags then. Then I was like, look, I said a few drags, I didn't say the whole thing. I was surprised how quick your man was to say, oh sorry mate, and he handed it back to me. It was firm, but you know, fair. People are just dumping everywhere, like, here's my pals. Hello. Everybody's very hungry today, including me. They're lovely. Alright, I'll leave you be, guys. Just listen to how peaceful it is around here. That's what I love the most. The turbines are going. Oh, it's so calm. Lovely. Country evening. But yeah, you know, you have to know when to be firm. Then his mate asked me for one as well, and I was like, I just gave your mate some, and he was like, go on. I was like, fine, you can have the ends on it, you know, like the arse end. I was like, the bit that I'm not even going to finish. I was like, here. And got like 1 or 2 off it, but I was like, if you want the last few drags, like the butt basically, which is what I gave him, but he took it. Just going like, you can finish that off. Because it was like, look, don't know if these lads are up to no good, but it's trying to be assertive but not start anything. So if they start anything, then we can defend ourselves, but be careful. I always have my guard up, you know, because you never know what people are like, and especially when they're on drugs, which a lot of people are. And there's been a lot of times, you know, where it's been hard to advocate for myself, and that's why I talked about it a lot recently, but I struggle to, you know, assert myself, so even harder to look after anybody else, but, you know, I try. Do my best. Like with me and a friend, you know, and I've known him since I was young, but he kind of always went off with someone else whenever they came along, you know, and I was Mr. Convenient. You know, I wouldn't see him all summer. So I kind of felt like, well, kind of fuck you to a degree. There's people zooming around here. But I kind of felt like, you know, you've never been there for me, so you get what you give. But we were playing hurling, you know, messing around with our hurls, and these scumbags that knew us from school came by, and you know, they said a few things and walked away with it. There was about 10, 11 of them, and a few of them came over looking for a go in the hurl. You know, we were messing around, and I said to them, you know, they're going to probably ask for the hurl, don't give it to them. And I stood with them, you know, and they started like asking me for mine. And I said, no, you're not getting it, you know. They started putting their hands on it, basically trying to take it off me, and I grabbed it, and I wasn't great with my words. I just went, no. But I was nervous, you know, I was very nervous. More of them than me, and I didn't trust the fella next to me whether he'd have my back if anything happened. You know, it's not easy talking about it because I feel like maybe I could have done more, but I kind of felt like they wanted me to chase after him, you know, and try and grab it back. But your man hands it straight to them, and I'm kind of like, look after yourself. And I was like, oh, here, give it back. And then they they tried hitting the schlitter of the car, and they ran off, you know. It's kind of what I knew would happen, so I thought, look, I know where they live, so if they steal it, we can go get it. I know where they live, you know. You know, people just up to no good want to ruin your day, and I said they'll give it back, don't worry, and they did. Felt maybe I could have gone over and said something, but kind of thought what they wanted me to do was to run after them so they could have a bit of a laugh. I was like, just give it back. They hit the thing once, threw it up in the air and left it there. We got it back. You know, and I was half, like, if I'm being honest, I was half tempted to just say, here, you can have it. You know, like, being perfectly honest, I felt like I was, you know, just say, yeah, you can have it, here you go. But yeah, I stuck to my guns at least, you know what I mean? At least I was firm, which is the main thing. Because if you don't stick to your guns and look after yourself, then people will take advantage. And yeah, as we talk about, a lot of people just said you're big enough and bold enough to look after yourself. It was kind of like, oh, cheers. But that was kind of my attitude for a lot of people, because it's kind of like, well, I've got nobody, so do it yourself. But I kind of think now it's good to look out for other people. That's important as well. But people can pretend to be your friend, and people are, in particular with autism, they're very good at pretending to be your friend, but they're taking a lot more than they're giving. You end up giving a hell of a lot more than they do, and it's sick. But a lot of people do it. Lots of people do it. I remember we were on a rugby trip before, me and the lads in my team, and they were okay, you know, but we were renting out bikes, and the coach was with us, so I kind of thought, well, you know, he'll look after me, and I had my passport with me, and they wanted a passport, you know, and I gave mine. Everybody was very reluctant to give out theirs, of course, but you know, they were pretty quick to hide their passports and let me give mine, and I got kind of nervous, you know. The peer pressure is, I think it's a lot worse, because you're trying to, especially, you know, if you're masking, last thing you want to do is drop the mask. And I took my passport out and I said, look, if no one else has theirs, and they were like, oh yeah, use that. And I was like, I knew some of them had their passports with them, and they start going, oh well, I wasn't doing it. And I felt kind of like, you know, the coach should have said something. You know, they all kind of, like, if that went missing, I couldn't get home, and that was foolish on my part, maybe, you know. I was very lucky that when I went back they gave it to me, but I was kind of shitting it that they wouldn't. I thought, you know, what if we go back? This place doesn't look very legit. What if we go back and they've taken it? I'm up shit creek without a paddle here, you know. But luckily, thank God, they handed it back. that was foolish, you know. I don't recommend you do that. You know, I know I give out about the bystander effect and all, and you know, someone else will take care of it, but if you put yourself out once, fair enough, but how many times are you doing it, you know? Usually a lot of people go, oh, can I please have that? And they're very mannerly and polite to you when they want something off you. But what do they give you in return? Usually nothing. Mate crime, isn't that what it's called? Where an autistic person gets basically used and abused, manipulated, and it's not fucking right, is it? I don't think so. I think it's pretty sick, and not sick fam. People taking the fucking ultimate piss. You know, and I've often kind of, you know, asked my mum and my dad, well, should I give something to them, or they're kind of like, oh yeah, you know, sharing is caring, as they all fucking say. And kids are great at pretending like they like you when they want something, when you're a young child and you're vulnerable, and the adults go, oh yeah, share. And I think adults need to really wise up and go, my kid's getting taken advantage of here. You know, my mum has had conversations with me, and there were a lot of times where I kind of felt like she was just didn't want me having friends, but I understand now that I'm older why she stopped me hanging around with certain people. It's fair, you know, I get it. And you know, it's not her fault if I choose to go off the rails. That was my choice, and I said that to her. I was hanging around with a bad group, you know. That would have been my choice, wholeheartedly. Nothing she said to me would have gone in, and if she tried to stop me, I would have just pushed even harder. You know what I mean? So there isn't a level of accountability in it as well. But yeah, don't be the one who's always giving something to somebody else, you know. Let them give a little back as well, because it seems to be unfortunately very common where, you know, mate crime, that's what they call it, where neurodivergent people are easy targets. People just keep fucking taking. I think that's where it's important for a loved one or a family member or a friend to go, look, don't do that. Don't keep giving them what they want. It's an easy way to get people to like you, you know, but they don't really like you, they're just using you. And that's where I'd kind of go, look out, look at this, actually, beautiful. Oh, that's a lovely view. But yeah, I think there's a fear around conflict, 100%. I think it's, you know, when people are getting threatening and intimidating, it's kind of like, oh, what do I do here? And knowing what the socially acceptable thing to engage in is. I think that's more for high masking people, you know, at least that's what I think for me. Look at this. But anyway, home now, and just watch out for that, guys. Look at it. Hello. Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, I love the sight of you when I get home. Hello, beautiful boy. Oh, you're licking the phone. Oh, you're licking the phone. Ah, you're such a beautiful boy. Hello, you're licking the blackberries. Oh, yeah. We going? Yeah.